No history, no self. No history, no self. Now, you've probably seen this everywhere. Instagram quotes, classroom walls, protest signs, t-shirts, hashtags, and everything in between. Now, most Filipinos think that it was from José Rizal. But the thing is, José Rizal never said this, while many others use this phrase without even knowing it is rooted in Filipino wisdom. So here's the thing, the irony. We share this phrase a lot about knowing where we came from, about knowing our roots, knowing our history, and yet most of us don't even know where this phrase came from, don't even know the phrase's own history and roots. And I used to roll my eyes whenever I hear people quote this from Rizal, or worse, when they forget that it's even Filipino wisdom. But then I quickly realized that it's not really their fault. So in today's video, we're gonna explore where this wisdom came from, what it actually means, and why knowing this truth really matters. Mabuhay! Or in Kapampangan, luwid kayo! Welcome back to my channel. It's me, Kirby Araullo, your friendly Pinoy historian. So growing up, I actually heard this wisdom quite constantly, and in different languages too. So in Tagalog it goes, ang hindi marunong lumingon sa pinanggalingan ay hindi makakarating sa pororoonan. Those who do not know how to look back from where they came from will never reach their destination. And in Kapampangan, we actually have a few versions of this. One that goes, nung emeyag yung balikdan in kaya kami labas, emeyag yung dasan in kaya kang bukas. If you cannot look back to your yesterday, you will never reach your tomorrow. And perhaps my favorite one in Kapampangan is the one that goes, kabang lalalam ka pangakilala king yamut mo, alalasan me ing mayumong bunga ning pun mo. The deeper you know your roots, the sweeter you taste the fruits of your tree. Very poetic, right? So if you're new to my channel, I have mixed heritage. And this meant that I've heard different versions of this wisdom from the different sides of the family. So apart from being Kapampangan and Tagalog, I also have roots from Pangasinan, from the Indigenous Aita, and Mestizo heritage, all interwoven into my roots. So all these different versions I've heard growing up all carried the same understanding, just expressed in different languages. And so for us, this was not just a saying in my family. It was also practiced and embodied. So for example, we kept track of our genealogies. We passed down oral traditions. We documented all our histories. Because knowing where you came from was essential to knowing who you are. And this was how I was brought up from both sides of my family. And this is a big reason of why I've always been interested in learning about our cultures and histories. Now the thing is, this wisdom existed across our islands long before any ilustrado like José Rizal wrote anything down. Because in case you didn't know, the Philippines has over 100 languages, over 100 ethnicities. And the more I immerse myself further with our diverse cultures in the Philippines, I learned the different versions of this phrase that exist in our languages, and I'll be sharing some of them later in the video. Now, the English version itself was not just a mere translation. It actually has its own history, a very interesting history, one that most Filipino Americans don't even realize. So, if you've ever written or quoted this as coming from José Rizal, you are not alone, and then it's not your fault. As someone who's been teaching our people's history and cultures, for many years, I've literally graded papers and even reviewed scholarship essays where students, cite No History, No Self by Dr. José Rizal. Some even put it in their bio. Now, if you're one of them, it is not your fault. And again, you're not alone. In fact, this misattribution is everywhere on both sides of the Pacific, both in the motherland and across the diaspora. But here's what happened. Back in the Philippines, for many decades, many Filipinos mistakenly attribute this Tagalog version to José Rizal. So understandably, when Filipino Americans heard the same phrase in English, they mistakenly assumed that it was also from Rizal. Meanwhile, many other communities started using the same phrase, without even knowing that it is rooted in an ancient indigenous wisdom from the Philippines. Now Rizal did write something similar. Back then, back in the 1800s, in one of his earliest plays, El Consejo de los Dioses, where he wrote something like, Con el recuerdo del pasado, entro el porvenir. With the memory of the past, I enter the future. But the thing is, Rizal was not inventing this wisdom. He was simply articulating in Spanish what had already existed in the Philippines. If you think about it, this misattribution reveals something deeper. Through the centuries of colonialism, and the decades that followed, the decades of miseducation, we've been conditioned to believe that wisdom and knowledge must only come from certain sources. For example, it is easier to credit one famous person than to acknowledge collective wisdom. And if you think about it, when it comes to this phrase, we have, triple layers of erasure happening. Our indigenous ancestors forgotten, Manong Orpilla forgotten, and even the Filipino origins of the phrase itself forgotten. So yeah, the phrase about knowing your origins, knowing your roots, your history, has sadly lost its own origins and roots and history. Now this problem was already happening long before the age of the internet. But the thing is, social media, basically escalated this problem. And I see this a lot during months like October, during Filipino American History Month, or other month-long commemorations. The quote gets shared millions of times. And in a way, without proper context, each share is removing it further from its source. So if it is not José Rizal, then where does its wisdom really come from? Now the answer takes us back deeper into our history. Now this wisdom existed long before the Spaniards even came, long before José Rizal was even born, long before any ilustrado or bayani wrote anything down. So let us listen to how our ancestors expressed this wisdom across the many languages of the islands we now call the Philippines. Here's a few examples. Now of course in Tagalog, ang hindi marunong lumingon sa pinanggalingan ay hindi makakarating sa paroroonan. Now in the Visayas, in Hiligaynon, ang hindi makahibalo magbalikid sa iyagin halinan, hindi makaabot sa iyang padulungan. Now in Bicol, ang dai magsalingoy sa pinaghalean, dai makakaabot sa padudumanan. Now again in Kapampangan, we have multiple versions. So one of them is, ingebyasang malikid kinkayang ibatan, emiras kinkayang paintungulan. So all of these first few examples, from Tagalog, Hiligaynon, Bicol, and the first Kapampangan one, they all essentially say the same thing. If you don't look back to where you came from, you won't reach your destination. But again, across our diverse cultures in the Philippines, we also have other versions that express the same wisdom quite differently. So another Kapampangan version says, nung emiyag yung baligdan inke kang milabas, emiyag yung dasan inke kang bukas. If you cannot look back to your yesterday, to your past, then you cannot reach your tomorrow, you cannot reach your future. And again, perhaps my favorite one in Kapampangan, kahabang lalalam ka pa ang kilala king yamot mo, alalasan me ing mayumong bunga ning pun mo. The deeper you know your roots, the sweeter you taste the fruit from your tree. Basically saying that the deeper you get to understand your roots, the more meaningful your life will be. Now down in Maguindanao, they say, sutawa dagugudnin sa maratabat, aguwadat betad, namana bun binatang. A person without honor and without culture is nothing but an animal. It is a different angle, but with the same understanding. You need your roots to be fully human. So again, these are just a few examples. And there are more that I'll be sharing on social media, so make sure to follow me on Instagram or Facebook. So as you can see, multiple communities across our many islands developed the same idea, the same understanding, the same wisdom. And this was not just, one person spreading the same quote, spreading the same idea, but it was collective wisdom. Collective wisdom emerging from lived experiences, from our people's shared histories, shared cultures, and interwoven roots. Our ancestors were philosophers. They understood complex ideas about time, about continuity, about self-awareness and self-knowledge. They understood that the past is not just behind us, but it is the very foundation we stand on. And that the future can only grow if it is rooted in that very foundation. This tells us something, something crucial about who our ancestors were. And even our ilustrados, like José Rizal, they drew from the same well of wisdom, the same well of indigenous knowledge. They didn't claim to create new wisdom from nothing. They didn't create phrases out of thin air. The ilustrados were synthesizing and formalizing what was already flowing in our communities, what our elders were already saying. But over time, sadly, we started only crediting those who wrote it down, not those who lived it, not those who passed it on for generations. And because of colonialism, centuries of colonialism and decades of miseducation, we started believing that wisdom and knowledge only counts when it is written down, when it is published in books or attributed to famous names. Because of this, we forget that our farmers were philosophers, that our weavers were poets, our fishermen carried profound wisdom in their everyday sayings. And this is all part of colonial mentality, that believing real wisdom and knowledge only comes from certain sources, from the educated, the published, the recognized. But the truth is, this is indigenous philosophy. Our ancestors understood that you are part of something larger, that your reactions, your strengths, your talents, they echo through generations. They understood that understanding those connections, those deeper connections, helps you understand yourself and your power. So if this is ancient indigenous wisdom, then who exactly created this English version? No history, no self. No history, no self. Let's rewind back to 1991. in the Bay Area in California and meet Manong Mel Orpilla. So back in 1991, Manong Mel had just started grad school in ethnic studies. And at the same time, he started working with Filipinos for Affirmative Action, which is now called Filipino Advocates for Justice. And he was running a youth program specifically for Filipino high school boys. And these high school boys, these Filipino boys, were literally killing each other. There was rampant gang violence in the 90s in the Bay Area. American-born Filipinos fighting recent immigrants, Filipinos versus Filipinos. And Manong Mel understood that once these youth knew exactly the struggles and the history of our people, both in the Philippines and here in America, they would stop seeing each other as the enemy, opening their eyes to the real systems that are keeping Filipinos down, that are keeping people of color down. So he created a presentation called No History, No Self, No History, No Self. So for Manong Mel, this was also personal. His own father came to America in 1926. His father was part of the Manong generation. So Manong Mel himself understood the deeper histories of Filipinos. Manong Mel himself lived that history. His family lived that history. So Manong Mel had this vision to get the youth to understand each other, no matter where they were born, whether in the Philippines or in America. And the thing is, the program worked. So Manong Mel brought the kids to feed the homeless, take them on college tours, to show them that there's a bigger world. This presentation spread throughout California. But the thing is, Manong Mel didn't claim that he invented the wisdom. He didn't claim that it was quoted from Rizal. Manong Mel was translating ancestral knowledge for a new generation in a new land. For over 30 years, Manong Mel has delivered this presentation to tens of thousands of people. This phrase resonated and quickly spread because the wisdom is universal. It started spreading through ethnic studies programs, activist spaces, and today on social media, jumping from Filipino American communities to other communities of color, reclaiming their own histories, their own roots, and building their own movements. Unknown to many, Manong Mel, he wrote the legislation in California that created the Filipino American History Month. And eventually, the same legislation became federal law. And so in 2015, President Obama invited Manong Mel to speak at the White House for the very first Filipino American History Month celebration at the White House. And today, Manong Mel and organizations like FANS or the Filipino American National Historical Society are continuing this work, not asking for credit, but, just hoping that the wisdom, no history, no self, takes root. And by the way, for those who may not know, FANS was founded by Uncle Fred and Auntie Dorothy Cordova back in 1982. And they've been preserving Filipino American history ever since, spreading to different chapters across the United States. Okay, so what does this wisdom actually teach us? It is not just about learning facts or memorizing dates. Our ancestors understood something much deeper about history. They understood that you literally cannot reach where you're going if you do not understand where you're coming from. So think of it like, a GPS. You type in where you want to go, but if your app does not know your starting point, it cannot give you directions at all. The destination is meaningless without the origins. The future is meaningless without the past. And that is exactly what this wisdom is teaching us, what our ancestors are reminding us. But it goes deeper than that. You're not just some individual floating through time. If you think about it, you're actually part of a continuity. Your reactions, your strength, and the way you handle conflict, all of these things, they all have roots. And understanding those roots, helps you understand why you are the way you are. It will help you understand your family dynamics or even your own instincts. Okay, so for example, back in the 90s, during my childhood, we actually spent a lot of time in Pangasinan, where my Lola Feli was from. So whenever we visit Pangasinan, one of the best things I appreciated for me as a little kid is how I saw this wisdom embodied in how people lived. How they made decisions, how resourceful they've been, and how resilient they have been. How they understood themselves in relation to their ancestors, to their community, and to the next generation. For example, my Lola Feli and all her siblings, including all her sisters, they were all guerrilla fighters during World War II. And knowing that history of resistance, it really shaped how our family understood struggles and survival. It taught us how to be resourceful. So this wisdom wasn't just some, abstract philosophy or some random saying in my family. Now on the other side, in Pampanga, we also practice the same understanding. Like many Kapampangan families, especially among the older clans, we kept records of our heritage and even genealogies, both written and in oral traditions. So for example, my own roots can trace back to the Mapang Sugi and the Principalia. Now this history is a bit more complicated than most people realize. Because while many in the Principalia gained favor, many others also faced persecution. Many stayed immersed with their communities, surviving and navigating centuries of colonialism. And understanding that history also meant understanding how my own ancestors resisted, how they survived, how we kept traditions alive, how we also supported uprisings. Like for example, my own ancestors, they were part of the revolt of the Lacans back in 1587. Then in the Katipunan in the 1896 Philippine Revolution. These are, different generations, 3 centuries apart, but both fighting for liberation. And with the same understanding that injustices must be resisted. So, growing up with that history, it really shaped how we understood power, that it meant responsibility and service to the community, not to ourselves. And understanding that lineage also meant understanding privilege, not as an entitlement, but actually as a responsibility to uplift others. Like literally, these are all in our last names. Like for example, in my own Mapping Sugi roots, Tayag means to uplift others. Umali means to defy and resist. And Pabalan is rooted in deliverance and liberation. So these are just a few examples of the deeper meanings of Kapampangan last names. So if you're interested about the deeper meanings of pre-colonial last names in the Philippines, check out my older video that I made a few years ago in the links below. But for now, back to our topic. This wasn't just pride. It was the weight of knowing what came before us and the responsibility of carrying these forward. We knew our lineages not because it was interesting or a fun trivia or even to be boastful, but more importantly, because knowing where you came from was essential to understanding yourself, your place in the community, your responsibilities to future generations. That is what knowing your history really means. It is not only about the past. Like that one revolutionary play that Aurelio Tolentino wrote. Napon ngeni at bukas. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Kahapon, ngayon at bukas. Just think about it. How many of us actually knows the full stories of our grandparents? And I mean not just their names or where they came from, but their actual stories, the things they had to fight against, what they survived, what systems they had to navigate, all of these things. When you do not know these stories, you actually lose more than just history. You actually lose a better understanding of why you are the way you are, a better understanding of yourself. Just think about it. Why you react certain ways to authority, why certain things hit you harder than others, why you have strengths and talents that you can't explain. All of these things are embedded in our DNA. The thing is, we share this wisdom about knowing our roots, and yet most of us share it without embodying it. We post it on social media, on vision boards, on hashtags, on our t-shirts, and yet our own family histories are fading into silence. Now, when you actually live this wisdom, when you truly know your history, you become armed with that knowledge. You understand the struggles our people faced and how they survived. You see patterns of resistance and resilience. For example, the decisions your elders made back then led to you being born where you were born. The struggles they survived gave you the privileges you have. The dreams they couldn't achieve somehow became your opportunities. When you know your history, you realize that you're not starting from zero. You're continuing something powerful. This is what our elders, our ancestors knew that somehow many of us have forgotten. That when you understand your people's resistance, you start recognizing the same systems that our elders, our parents and grandparents had to fight and survive. And that awareness empowers you to keep resisting and continue moving forward. When you understand what they had survived, you also realize what you are capable of surviving too. And that knowledge and wisdom, that is your power to push back against what is wrong. The thing is, we're not just learning about history, we are also inheriting the strength and the wisdom of our ancestors. Now, this wisdom promises empowerment, but only if you embody it. And I mean not just sharing this quote, not just wearing it as a shirt or using it as a hashtag, but actually seeking out your own family's histories, documenting your own stories, and understanding the power of knowing our own roots. And I've actually seen this impact in my own work. For the past 2 decades, I've been teaching our people's history and culture through teaching our indigenous scripts, Baybayin and Kulitan, to the youth both in the Philippines and in the diaspora. So in these classrooms, students and the youth learn the scripts. But then my favorite part is when something deeper happens. When the students, the youth, started asking questions. First they asked, Kuya, where can I learn more about our histories? And then they started asking, where did my family come from? What island? What province? What languages did they speak? What did my grandparents go through during the war? Why did my parents leave the Philippines? These are just a few examples, and the list goes on. So I always encourage the students to go home and ask their elders, to document both the struggles and the triumphs. That curiosity transforms them. They understand that they're part of something bigger, part of a story that is still being written. And that is actually, this sense of empowerment is my favorite part about teaching. And I see the same thing happening on this channel. When viewers started asking their own families questions, digging into the stories that they never knew existed. And this sense of empowerment, Seeing this transformation, that is truly when this wisdom actually thrives. Not in the quotes or hashtags, not in the posters or t-shirts, but in the people reconnecting with their roots and uplifting our communities. Not really in who said it first, but in who really carries it forward. And maybe that is exactly the point, that the wisdom matter more than the credit. But the thing is, we should always remember and still honor those who created, those who passed down and preserved our cultures. Especially when we're talking about knowing our own roots. So here we are today. We're sharing this phrase, no history, no self, without even knowing its own history. But now you know the truth that it is an indigenous wisdom that existed across the many languages of what is now the Philippines. And that in the 1800s, José Rizal wrote something similar, drawing from the same ancestral wisdom. And that, in the 90s, Manong Orpilla created the English version we know today to help Filipinos in the diaspora reconnect with our roots. But the thing is, it should not stop at just knowing about the history. Like I mentioned earlier, it should also be about embodying it, taking action. This wisdom has always been there, carried by our communities, passed down through generations, so we could be here today. So now it is time to do our part. Start with your own families. Ask your elders about their struggles, their triumphs, what systems they fought against, what they survived, how they thrived. Like what I said before, our elders are living and breathing libraries. So document everything they tell you. I want you to write them down. Or better yet, take a video or record their voices. And like what I tell my own students, if we do not document our own histories, our own cultures, someone else will do it for us. And who knows what they'll write about our people. Or worse, if we do not document any of these things, our stories might just disappear. The narratives and the voices of our people will fade into silence. Because at the end of the day, it is not just about preserving our history or knowing about our past. It is also about understanding our power in the present, understanding our abilities to lay the groundwork for a brighter future. Because when you understand your people's struggles, what your people went through, you can see today's patterns more clearly. You can see that history is actually a tool for addressing the injustices we face today. The challenges are not new, but neither is our ability to overcome them. So don't just share the quotes. Don't just share the hashtags or wear it in a shirt. Embody the wisdom and take action. Take action, to address the struggles and the injustices we're facing today. Let this knowledge transform how you see yourself and your power. Immerse yourself in the realities of today, armed and empowered with this wisdom from our ancestors. And if you want to dive deeper into our people's colorful history, diverse cultures, and everything in between, I've actually made hundreds of videos on this channel, for the past 13 years. And I've also written several books about uplifting the narratives of our people. So if you want to learn more and help support my channel, please check them out in the links below. Maraming salamat po o in bahasa sug magsukol tuod kay mo. And in Kapampangan, dakal pong salamat kay Hongan. See you next time or in Tagalog kita kits and in Kapampangan. Mikitix and in Binisaya, kita aita.